Welcome into episode number 144 of The Voice Behind the Voice. I'm Sean Aronson, the TV and radio broadcaster for the St. Paul Saints, an independent minor league baseball team in the Twin Cities. Well, it has already paid off. What, you may ask? That's right, this is the time I talk about me. Remember I told you about a month ago that I bought a new car, a beautiful Honda CR-V, nice SUV. Well, for the first time this winter, it actually snowed a decent amount around here, 5-6 inches, whatever it was. Under the old car, it would have been a pain to get out of my own driveway at that point. And even if I had shoveled my own driveway and then gotten down to the street, it would have been a pain because they don't plow until like sometime in the afternoon. And there are two things that I have now realized after 12 years of living in Minnesota, both having to do with the car. Number one, if you don't have an automatic car starter, I just don't even understand you. Like, that is essential for living in this state because, as we will find out beginning tomorrow, it's supposed to be 3 straight days of below zero temperatures. Like, the high will not get above zero. Okay? Who wants to go out into the car, get into the car when it's been minus 15 degrees outside and you get in your car and you have to freeze for the next 10 minutes while you're driving around before it warms up? Number two, you need an SUV in any winter state. Like, regular cars just don't do it. So it took a month, and this was one of the reasons why I decided to get a new car, is because in weather like this, it pays off. Didn't get stuck, didn't have to rev the engine, didn't have to floor it to try to get out of my own driveway. It was great. I'm not saying that the SUV is perfect, but much better than a regular car. And I'll be the first to admit, if I lived still in Florida or California or anywhere else that's warm, chances are I'm not buying an SUV. But here, I just felt it was time, and it already paid off. So I'm extremely happy about my decision. With that, let's get to episode number 144, decision I was very happy about, sitting down with Josh Getzoff of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He is a young guy, a guy that is kind of filling in right now for Mike Lange when Mike doesn't make all the trips on the road. By the way, and this is not a knock on Josh at all because he was tremendous, but Mike Lange's one of those guys that you'd love to sit down and talk with. He's been around forever. He's got the famous calls that all you got to do is YouTube it, and you can hear all his famous calls. Scratch my back with a hacksaw, and comes up with like a million different ones. But ever since I started this podcast, he has never traveled. Remember, the Penguins only come to Minnesota once. He never travels here. He's cut back on his travel considerably ever since I started this. But Josh, just a young guy, and just really interesting how he's ascended to the role of, will he be the guy to take over when Mike officially retires? And Mike's been very smart in how he's handled things in terms of cutting back on the travel to extend the longevity. And we talk a little bit about that, and Josh was very diplomatic in not wanting to say, yep, I'm the guy, or I want the job, or any of that stuff, which I totally understood. But really, really young guy, nice guy, great to talk to him. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, you can do so on iTunes, wherever you get your podcast. Again, be sure to rate the podcast as well on iTunes or wherever. Social media, we're on that. You can follow us on Twitter at TheVoiceBTV, Facebook, facebook.com/TheVoiceBTV, and you can always email me, thevoicebtv@gmail.com. All right, let's get to it. Episode number 144 with Josh Getzoff of the Pittsburgh Penguins. JW, warm everybody up. Roll the open.
When I got the notification that I got it, it said that I was assigned to men's ice hockey. So, I mean, I was through the roof excited. Not that I would have been not excited if I got figure skating or something of that nature. Just to be there is unbelievable. But to have that opportunity to work hockey and be alongside Doc Emmerich, who I obviously idolized growing up, and listen to Kenny Albert, who's also a phenomenal broadcaster, and get to know him, that was really a highlight of my life.